Hey everybody, Sharon here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Tunic, going for the Spring Falls achievement. This is to find secret item number 7. Now, to get secret item number 7, you are going to have to rescue all 20 fairies. So that's going to require you to find a set of collectibles in order to get this collectible. So with that being said, let's get started on the fairy hunt. So from the starting area, we're going to head up to the steps by where we got the stick from. We're going to take a right and then take the series of ladders up. You're going to want to keep heading up until you get to the path that you would normally take to get over to the eastern vault. So make sure you get past the compass statue, make sure you go past the area that you would use to get to the forest, and make sure you wrap around the staircase right here, and then take this pass up here, and then once you are able to turn, you should get to this area. Take out all of the enemies, and then once you have a clearing, you want to make sure you stand in the middle of this square. Punch in this code on the D-pad. Up, left, down, left, down, left, down, left, up, right, down, right, down, right. And then punching that in is basically going to get the chest to appear, and then inside said chest should be the fairy. So open it up from the top, and then that should be 1 out of 20. You should also get an achievement for freeing your first one. There it is. It's going to be I'm free for 20 gamer score. Once we have that one taken care of, we're going to head back to the center area. You can take the shortcut if you have that unlocked, or you can take the long way back. Doesn't really matter as long as you make it back to the middle where the initial save point is going to be. We're going to head in the western direction at this point. So from the save point, make sure you take the stairs down. Make sure you head across the drawbridge and then past the shrubs next to the windmill. Make sure you take the ladder down to the area with the old house, and then we're going to head down until we get to the waterfront. So make sure you go past the teleporter and make sure you go down here, down the ramps, and then once you hit the water, make sure you follow it along until you get to this staircase right here. Take the stairs down, and then you're going to be in this area that you would normally get the key to the old house from. Make sure you go past the enemies and then take this ladder down to the water. Once you're out here on the beach, make sure you take this plank across, and then make sure you stop at this square. Make sure you use the D-pad to punch in this code. It's going to be up, right, down, left, down, left, down, left, down, left, up. That should spawn in the next chest, and then once again, you just need to open it in order to free your fairy friend, and that's going to take care of fairy number 2, already 1/10 of the way there. Moving on to fairy number 3, thankfully it's going to be very close by. Make sure you head back onto the beach, and then make sure you go under the bridge. There's going to be an entrance right here to a cave. Make sure you dash across the water, and then there's going to be 2 codes you need to punch in to get this fairy. First one, to open up the door, make sure you do this code on the D-pad. Right, up, left, right, down, left, down, right. That should pop open the wall, and then you should be able to head on inside, and then once you are in here, you're going to keep going straight until you get to this structure right here. It's going to be a tower that you are going to need to climb, so make sure you take the various sets of ladders all the way up to the tippy top. It shouldn't be anything too difficult to navigate, so hopefully you can get there a-okay, but make sure you get to the top, and then as soon as you hit the apex of the tower, punch in this code, left, up, right, down, up, left, up, right, and then finally up. And then once you punch that in correctly, you should get your chest to appear, and then inside is going to be your next fairy. Once we take care of that, we're going to head back down, and we're just going to take the way we got here, but inversed. So make sure you just head back the way you came, and then make sure you head back out to that cave system, and then back out into the overworld. We're going to move on to fairy number 4 next, which is also going to be pretty close by. So make sure you head back out onto the beach. Make sure you take the ladder back up to the cliffside right here. Once you are back up here, make sure you head up the staircase, and then we're going to hang over to the left and then head back to the waterfront right over here on the left. Make sure you cross the plank of wood right here and then take this staircase up. Once you're at the top of this staircase, make sure you stop here in front of this wall and then punch in this code using the D-pad. Up, left, down, up, right, down, up, left, up, right, down. And then punching that in correctly should get the next chest to appear, and then inside is going to be our next fairy. Once we have this one, we're going to move on to ferry number 5. This one requires us to get access to the old house, so if you haven't already unlocked it, make sure you do so. And to do so, you're going to need the key, obviously. Just make sure you head back across the water, and then make sure you head over to the cliffside where the giant monster is going to be. It's going to be at the bottom of this staircase right here. So just make sure you grab the key from the monsters, and then make sure you take this back with you to the old house in order to get the door unlocked. Of course, the old house is going to be the building that's going to be directly beneath the ladder you took to get here from the windmill. So just make sure you head back to the waterfront and then take the series of ramps back up. It should be at this elevation. And then which one you just want to make sure you head past the teleporter back towards the ladder that you would get to the windmill. And then make sure you stop right here, use the key on the door, and that should unlock it, giving you access to it for the rest of the game. But more importantly, it's going to allow you to go inside and get this next collectible. Stop in front of the banner on the right side and make sure you punch in this code. It's going to be up, up, right, down, right, up, right, down, down. And then punching that in is going to get the next chest to appear right here in the middle of the house. All you have to do is just open it like the rest of them, and then inside's going to be your next ferry. So with that one, we're going to be a quarter of the way done. Moving on to the next one, make sure you leave the old house, and to find ferry number 6, you're going to want to head down 1 elevation. So make sure you head over back to the waterfront, so take the ramps back down. We're going to go to the fountain in this elevation. So make sure you just wrap around the corner, make sure you stop by the fountain right here. You want to make sure you are in this corner on the left side, punch in this code. Down, left, down, up, right, down. Doing that in this corner should spawn the chest in the front of the fountain, and then just make sure you open it up, and then another ferry to the collection should be added. The next ferry is going to require that you have some bombs on you, so if you don't have any on you at this current moment, you could buy some because there's going to be a shop nearby, which is going to be back at the windmill. So make sure you try to restock on bombs if you are out. So take the ladder up to the windmill, head on inside, and then make sure you go to the back room, and then make sure you do a little bit of shopping. Make sure you buy the bombs. You want to make sure you have the regular types of bombs, or the ones that look like firecrackers. Just make sure you buy at least one, and then you're going to need this to open up the entrance to the location of the next ferry. So just make sure you drop the cash on them. They look like this, the ones that look like candles, basically. And then make sure you buy a stack, and then take these with you over to where we need to get going next, which is going to be back down at that previous elevation. So take the ladder back down, and make sure you head back to the waterfront, take those ramps down, of course, and then wrap around back to the fountain area. So assuming you have the bombs now, we're going to pick up from where we last left off. Make sure you head right across the water, and then make sure you head all the way over here, up the flight of stairs right here, and then which one you just want to make sure you head to this spiral staircase. You want to stop at the dead end right here, equip your bombs, and then make sure you throw them at the wall where the dead end is going to be. That should blow open an entrance, and then that should allow you to head on inside, and then once inside, we're going to go for our next ferry. So we're going to get this cube right here. Make sure you punch in this code on the D-pad. Right, up, up, right, up, right, up, right, up. That should get the next chest to appear at the back of the room, and then all you have to do is just make sure you head there and then open it up for our next ferry. That should pretty much take care of all of the ferries on the western side of the overworld. Now we're going to start tackling the ones in the east. Next one up, I'm going to recommend having the dash to get to, simply because it makes getting there way quicker. Make sure you head in the direction that you would normally take to get to the cemetery. So make sure you just take the ladder down until you get to the bottom of the steps. Make sure you hang a right here, and then get over here. Instead of taking the ladder down, which one you just want to make sure you stay on the broken bridge, use your dash to get to this place where the obelisk is normally, and then make sure you dash onto the sets of pillars in the water. This should eventually take you back onto the beach, and then once you are there, you should be able to get underneath the bridge and then head into this next room right over here. So make sure you head on inside, and then inside is going to be our next chest after another code input. So make sure you head all the way to the back of this room, and then once you get to the back, you are going to get this thing right here, which is going to be an invisible maze. You actually don't have to solve the maze. You can stand here at the front of it and then punch in the code using the D-pad. Up, left, down, left, up, right, down, right, up, right, down, left, up, left, up, and that is going to spawn the chest right here at the entrance of the maze. No need to solve the maze unless you want that other treasure chest. Or if you have the dash, you can just skip the maze entirely, and you can just dash straight to the chest. Nonetheless, once you free your fairy, you should be good for this area. So it's going to be back out, and then on to the next one we go. So make sure you just go back the way you came. So back across the beach and then across those pillars, get back onto the bridge and then take it back across by using your dash, of course. This time around, we're going to take the ladder down. So make sure you break open those shrubs, take the ladder down, and then head underneath the broken bridge into this room. Once inside, you're going to get this nice little projection right here on the wall. Make sure you stand right here in this corner and then punch in the code on your D-pad. It's going to be right, up, left, right, down, left, down, right. Punching that in is going to get the chest to appear, and then once it does, make sure you open it up, and another fairy is going to be added to our collection. That should be number 9, and then we can move on to number 10, which is going to mark the halfway point. So head on back outside, and we're going to stay on the eastern side of the overworld. So make sure you take the ladder back up, and then make sure you start heading back to the middle. Make sure you stop over here, take the series of ladders up, and then on your way up to the higher elevations right here, you should notice the compass statue that you normally pass all the time. Make sure you stop directly in front of it, and then make sure you punch in this code on your D-pad. Left, right, down, down, right, left, up, right, down, left, up, down, right, left. Doing that is going to spawn this super duper easy chest, and then just open it up, and that should be 10 out of 20 fairies, which is going to mark the halfway point. This is also going to be the bare minimum amount of fairies you need in order to get one of the manual pages, so you are going to need it for that collectible and that achievement as well, so make sure you take care of those. Anyways, we're going to head back up, and then we're going to take the path going up this way. So make sure you head behind the staircase, wrap around, and then get back on to the bridge right here. Once you get back to the location where you picked up fairy number 1, we're going to hang a left, and then we're going to keep heading north until we get to the cliff face. We're going to head behind the waterfall, and then we're going to get to this secret room. In this secret room is going to be another secret room in the back left corner, so make sure you take this all the way to the back. Once you notice this enemy right here, you're going to want to stop once you can't move anymore. Make sure you punch in this code on your D-pad. It's going to be down, down, right, up, right, down, left, down, right, up, right, down, down. That should cause the next chest to appear right over here next to us. We're just going to head around it and then pop it open, and then we should be good for another fairy. Then we're just going to leave the way we came here, so just make sure you head down until you leave the cave, back out to the waterfall, and then back out into the overworld. Once we're out here, we're going to take the ladder up, so make sure you head up the mountainside right here, and we're going to proceed to do a very, very long walk up to the mountaintop. So make sure you take the staircase up out of the overworld onto the mountain pass, and then make sure you climb all the way up to the tippy top of the map. We are going to take the mountain pass all the way to the quarry, so make sure you go past the mountaintop door, and then take this path, which is going to wrap around, and then it's going to pop us right here at the entrance of the quarry. We're going to stop right here in this little clearing, and then we're going to punch in another code, so make sure you do up, right, down, left, up, left, down, left, up, right, down. That is going to spawn the next chest right here in front of us, and then we're going to open it up for another fairy. Thankfully, there's not going to be any more fairies in the quarry, so feel free to leave once you have this one. And the fastest way is to just head the way we came, so just make sure you head back through the mountain pass and then get to the overworld. For these next few, we're going to be using the fast travel stations in order to get to them, which is going to be another reason I recommend doing this in the end game, simply because it's going to be way faster than walking there. However, if you are familiar with the map and don't have the fast travel stations available, you can also walk there the slow and painful way. Nonetheless, just make sure you hit up your local teleport station and then head into the fast travel hub. Make sure you get to the center, and then our first destination is going to be right over here, which is going to be the forest. So make sure you use your dash to get across the broken bridge, and then make sure you teleport over to the forest. Granted, the forest is going to be the easiest place to walk to manually, so you can also take that path if you don't have the dash quite just yet. Whatever the case, using the fast travel station as a reference point, you want to make sure you head to the left. You can either stay on the main path or you can take the path behind the trees, but your goal is to get to the entrance to this location on the left side. So take the staircase up and make sure you stop right here. You are going to need the dash in order to get this one, so you have to do this one in the end game anyways. So make sure you use your dash to get across the pillars, atop the door frame, and then right here to this cliff side right here. Once you are up here, you're going to stop in this clearing, and you want to make sure you punch in this code on your D-pad. Up, down, left, right, down, left, up, right. Doing that should spawn the chest right over here, and then inside is going to be our next fairy. Normally, you would have to come here at night to get the hint for the code from the dancing ghost here. However, if you know the code beforehand, you can just come here during the daytime as well and just punch it in the same location in order to get the chest to appear regardless. Nonetheless, once you have that one, we're going to head back the way we came, as there's going to be another fairy in the forest. So we're going to head back to the fast travel station. So just make sure you take either way back, either the main path or the tree path. But once you see that fast travel station, we're going to head back down into the trees, and we're going to take the lower tree path, which is going to extend the screen, and it's going to take us to this series of ladders. This is going to take us deeper into the forest, so make sure you follow along this way. And then once you get to the bottom of the map, we're going to continue down this path right here. We're going to walk past the grapple point and then past the spider ambush, and then we're going to head up, and then we're going to stop right here at this broken monument. This one's going to be a pretty long code, so make sure you try your best to follow along. Down, right, down, left, down, left, up, right, left, up, right, left, up, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, up. Hopefully you get that in the right order, and that should cause the chest to appear right here in front of the broken monument. Opening this one up is going to give us fairy number 14. Moving on to number 15, we're going to head back to the fast travel station, so hopefully you can navigate back there a-okay. Once we are back at the fast travel place, we are going to head over to the library as our next destination. So back to the central place, and then make sure you take the bottom right square, and that should put us in the fast travel room of the library. We're going to backtrack into the main library lobby, so just make sure you head down the pile of books. Take the ladder down, and you should be in the circular hallway. Make sure you take either direction to get to the ladder. That should take you back down to the mezzanine. Fastest way is to go to the right side. And then once you are there, make sure you just take the ladder and staircases down to get out into the lobby. You are going to want to stop atop the carpet in the middle of the room, and then once you are there, you're going to want to punch in another super long code on the D-pad. So stand in the middle and make sure you punch this in. Up, left, down, left, up, right, left, right, left, down, left, up, down, left, up, right, right, down, left, down, right, and then doing that should spawn the chest right here atop the carpet alongside you. Make sure you open up that one, and that should be fairy number 15, and that's going to mark the 3/4 mark, so 75% of the way through the fairies. Once we have that one, make sure you just take the way back up to the fast travel room, and we're going to make the jump to the next area. So just make sure you locate that, and then make sure you get back to the fast travel hub. Once you are here, we're going to hit up the next location, which is going to be the upper right square, and this one is going to take us to the eastern vault. The fast travel station here is going to put us directly in front of the boss room. We're just going to backtrack by following the rail outside to the golden door. Make sure you stay on the higher floor and then go left, then take the staircase down into the save area, then take the bottom left door into this room. You want to make sure you stand on this square where the obelisk used to be, and make sure you punch in this quick code. Right, left, down, right, up, left. You might have a little bit of trouble since the enemies here are going to be very annoying since they inflict burn damage. So try to mop them up a-okay. And then once you are clear of them and are clear of any fire damage, feel free to open up the chest. And then inside is going to be fairy number 16. Moving on to the next two ferries, they're both going to be located over in the Western Garden. Unfortunately, there's not going to be an easy way to fast travel there, so the fastest way is to actually just fast travel back to the overworld and then walk there manually. So make sure you hit up the fast travel station, either the starting one or you can fast travel to the one underneath the old house, which is probably going to be the faster of the two. But nonetheless, just make sure you get back to the overworld. Make sure you get back to the middle area and make sure you start heading left, and then make sure you go past the windmill and then take that path until you get into the Western Gardens. So make sure you try to get across here, and then you are going to eventually end up at the Western Bell Tower. Make sure you go behind that and then take the ladders down, and then this is going to be the path to get into the Western Gardens, and then we're going to find our next two collectibles in this area. So we're going to stay on the main path, just follow it along until you get to the square. Once you see the square, make sure you continue onto the path right here. And then we're going to wrap around here, and then we're going to take this ladder down. Once we get to the bottom of this ladder, we're going to start encountering enemies, so be very careful. Follow the rail until you get to this turn. Make sure you turn here until you get to this X-shaped intersection. Take the right path and then wrap around here until you get to this piece of land. We're going to want to take this diagonal pillar up. Again, watch out for enemies. Scale the wall until you get to this area right here. You are going to need the dash to get this next one, so make sure you are doing this in the late game. Use the dash to get across onto this island with the tree. Once here, punch in this code: left, down, right, left, up, down, and that should spawn your next chest, and then inside is going to be your next ferry, so make sure you pick that one up. That should be ferry number 17, which is going to leave us with 3 left in the game. There's going to be another one in the Western Garden. We're going to head back the way we came, which is going to be towards the overworld, and it's actually going to be on the way back, so we're going to take care of both things we need to get done, which is to make our way back to the overworld, which is going to involve walking since there isn't going to be a convenient fast travel station to use, and grabbing the collectible along the way, which is going to be right here in this open area. Make sure you stop in the dead center, and make sure you punch in this code: up, right, left, right, down, right, up, left, down, left, up, left, up. Punching that in should reveal the second fairy chest in the Western Garden. Make sure you open that one up, and this one's going to be fairy number 18 overall. So that's going to leave us with 2 left. Once we have both of them in the Western Garden, we're going to head all the way back to the overworld. So make sure you take the long, arduous path back to the middle area, and then we're going to take care of the last 2. So the penultimate fairy is going to be behind the golden door. If your golden door is still locked, you're going to need to do the speedrunning trick in order to get past, which is going to require you to have the ice dagger and the grapple. So make sure you equip those 2, and then make sure you try to pull one of the slimes over. So just head down the staircase, make sure you grab one of the slimes. Recommend doing the big one, and then just make sure you lure him over to the golden wall. You're going to need to do the trick where you try to put him touching the wall, and then you're going to want to freeze him. As soon as he's frozen, just make sure you use the grapple to push him behind the wall. Once he's behind the wall, hopefully he stays frozen. You want to make sure you use your grapple one more time, and hopefully that pulls you through the golden door, allowing you to bypass it if it's still locked. So that's going to be how you get access to this room, and then we're going to look for our next collectible in here. Make sure you stop at the first statue you see directly in front of you, and then we're going to punch in another code on the D-pad. This one's going to be up, right, left, up, right, down, right, up, left. Doing that is going to spawn the chest right here, and then inside is going to be our penultimate fairy, fairy number 19, which is going to leave us with 1 more left. Now, once we have the chest, we're going to want to leave this area. You can either take the balcony way out, or if it's available to you, you can also take the front door out. You may get stuck depending on how far along in the story you are, but you can always leave by grappling on to the tuning fork off to the right if you do get stuck in the entranceway. Nonetheless, once you are back outside, make sure you take the staircase down and then head behind the small waterfall. That should allow you to wrap around here, and then we're going to head all the way around the cliffside, and then we're going to head in this direction. Make sure you go behind this waterfall, and then inside's going to be the ferry room. Make sure you head forward, and then make sure you interact with the middle ferry fountain. If you have picked up every single ferry at this point, you should have 19 souls returned. You should also get one of the manual pages if you happen to have 10 ferries picked up. As for ferry number 20, which is the last ferry, it's actually going to be located in this room. Stand on the fountain and make sure you punch in this code: down, right, up, right, up, right, up, left, up, left, up, right, up, right, up, left, down, left, down, left, down, right, down, right, up, right. And then doing that should spawn the last ferry chest directly in front of you in the last room where the rest of the ferries are. Make sure you open it up, and that should be the 20th and final ferry, which is going to give you secret item number 7, and that is going to be in this chest right here. So make sure you open up this chest, and then inside's going to be your item, and then once you have that item, you should be good for this achievement. So once you have it in your inventory, you are going to be good for another 50 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.